them that I could.
Yeah, it's difficult finding the best time to
Absolutely.
accommodate everybody's schedule. And yesterday I had a bunch of things to do, so I thought maybe Saturday morning would work. Then again, people work people work every
Right.
day.
Yeah, it's a tough.
So you're in 22,
I'm in the 5 weeker. Yep, we got the last
the
exam.
5 weeker. Okay.
So I did see on the recording, you guys mentioned the exam is now on Tuesday,
Yeah, I
correct?
had the right date, 7/1, but I had it labeled as Monday, 7/1.
Okay, yeah, because Monday was 6:30. Okay, so just wanted to double check. So it's
Yeah,
Tuesday
it'll be the
only.
same thing. It'll start at 8 o'clock on the Monday and then it'll run to noon time on the Tuesday.
Okay,
All
great.
right, so you still have the 20 or 28 hours, I guess.
Perfect. Okay, so till noon time on Tuesday. Great.
Yeah. So what's your work schedule like?
I'm honestly working all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm working 12 on Monday, 12 on Tuesday, and all day Wednesday. So
So
I'm
you're a
gonna be
nurse.
I'm a nurse, and with the holiday, I have Friday off, so I had to get all my hours in the beginning of the week. So I'm gonna be doing it at either on my lunch break or at 10 o'clock at night. So I got to figure out what the best bet
Yeah,
for me is.
yeah, 10 o'clock at night gives you, a bunch of hours to do it. Danielle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is not your first Zoom meeting, is it?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
No.
I just forget. My memory is with so many different students and classes and just being old. Ladies, I am recording this, so I wouldn't want to don't give out your social security number or your visa.
Got it.
Good
Oh,
morning.
geez, yeah. What's a Zoom without Kerry?
I was gonna say, we don't need to ask if Carrie's attended one of these before.
Oh no, Kerry invites me to her Zoom meetings. I was just chatting with Danielle and talking about that. I know the right date, but I didn't know the right day. No, I know the right day, but the wrong day. I had the 7/1, but I was calling it Monday, and actually it's Tuesday 7/1. That's
Yes,
what it is.
yes.
All right. Marie, we just messed that up. It's Tuesday 7/1.
It's Tuesday 7/1. Yeah. So you had the right. Yeah.
I
So
had
it's on
Monday
Tuesday into
7/1. Yeah.
Wednesday, not Monday into Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because supposedly grades are due the very next. In fact, grades are due the Wednesday, but that shouldn't be an issue because by 12 o'clock, everybody should have finished it. And if someone doesn't has an issue, what I've probably got to do is assign an incomplete. But it's interesting because no one from the other class the 10 weeker seems to log on. We had one young lady a couple of weeks ago.
Mm.
She worked at Dunkin' Donuts, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, she was at work, whatever. And somebody was on last week and they had a patient on the MRI table.
No, that was me, and I had no
Oh, that was
patience.
you.
Thank you very much.
I hope that woman didn't die or that guy didn't die.
I was taking my lunch break.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Everyone was fine.
Help, help. So I just mentioned to Maria that I am recording for folks that can't log in. I find the perfect time for everybody is, well, to be quite honest, it's gonna be a perfect time for me when I'm with it.
Exactly.
You ladies all set for on the last exam, pretty straightforward, or what can we do?
I
I was gonna say, I feel like I do have a question for on that last homework, the 7-2.
Okay, let me call it up.
It's more of like a general.
Do you have a specific number or
So literally on the first question, I know
all
that,
right, I'll tell you what, let me just call it that way we can just see what we're talking about, okay? Give me a
yeah,
sec. 7/1, you're saying?
7-2, please.
7/2. Okay. And of course, I'm having an issue. Why am I? Stop sharing that. I want to call up 7/2. All right. All right, Mr. Gomes, you're having an issue here today. Why are you doing that? All right, let's see if I can do it now. Success. Ladies all seen this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
so which one?
Yeah, so
Three things. Let
I'm
me
on
just
that
say
first
this.
one actually. If you don't, so do you know how with the degrees of freedom you go,
It's one less than the number of the end value. Now here's the
exactly.
deal.
So
This is
what
a
do you
weird
do?
one because it was weird in the it's in the case that your end see number one, the end value was 91. All right, so if you subtract one, you get 90. Now
But then-
90 falls between 80 and 100. So I'm telling you to pick the lowest value. But here's the
Okay.
deal. In the exam, you won't
Okay.
have to be bothered with this. In other words, when you subtract one from n, the degrees of freedom, you'll actually see the number. It'll be something like, what can I tell you? It'll be 19 or 20. You won't have to
Okay.
play that game. Do I have to pick the 80 or the 100? You follow me?
That was my question because I was like, if it doesn't fall on the chart, I was going to
Pick
ask
the
you.
one that's closest to,
Lower.
but smaller. But it won't be an issue on the exam. I don't want to put you through that. It'll
Okay.
be like 14, you subtract one, you get 13, and 13 will be your degrees of freedom.
And
You won't
that
have
will
to
be
play
in there.
that game,
Okay.
which is closer.
That was my question on guidance of which okay, thank you. That's all I need. That was my big one.
Ladies, anything else while we're on 7-2 here? It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you've got the formula, you got your T chart, your degrees of freedom, and all it is a formula. You've got to, you'll find your T score, you'll know what S is, and you'll know what N is, and it's just a matter of, putting those numbers into your calculator. And in 7-2 and even in 7-1, the answers are pretty much spot on. All right, there is no really discrepancy. And then the second thing is when I'm asking you for the entire confidence interval, and there is no, unlike 7-1, where the last part of 7-1, I asked you for the sample size needed. In 7-2, there is no sample size problems.
No samples. Okay.
All right. And here again, when you use your T interval, you'll see that the answer is like right here. You see it's spot on. I mean, there's one's close, but you can't get closer than exact. All right. This is kind of nice because you don't have to play games. And the only other difference is sometimes there's a little discrepancy when you're given the raw data. Make sure that when you get the T interval, you get off of stats, you arrow over the data. I suggest putting the values in list one. That way you're consistent all the time. I mean, there are 6 different lists. We don't want to get into T interval and then go, oh, wait a minute, where did I put my numbers? If you always put them into T1, list one, excuse me, they're always going to be there. That makes sense?
Yes.
All right. You know how to clear out a list, right?
Yes.
Everyone know how to
Yes.
clear out a list?
Yes.
Yep.
You go above the line and
Mhm.
hit clear. T1 is, I mean, here again, especially when you have 2 different values, two different sets, you don't want to be like, well, is it L3 and L5 or, L1, L2? If you're consistent, you're all set.
Okay.
Anything else with 7-2?
No, I don't have any questions on 7-2. That was my question that Maria asked, was about the.
Yeah, it's, I don't know why I did that. Gonna make you think a little bit. But I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure in the voiceover, I mentioned if you don't see the value, it'll
Pick
fall
the
between
lower.
2 numbers, pick the one that is smaller. I think though in one of his videos, I didn't use Big Al for this. I used Big Al's cousin. I think he explains it a little bit differently.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna shut down 7-2. Ladies, is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I have on 6, I had a question on 6-6.
All right, give me a sec.
Okay.
Okay, should be seeing 6-6.
Yeah, it's number 14.
Okay,
Okay, so I think I calculated, it looks like I calculated everything right and got the same result on the calculator as you had in your answer sheet, the 0.0687. I just didn't understand why the answer was
yeah, did I mention?
0.0669,
Yeah, I'm
instead
trying to
of
remember. Did I say that this one here there was a mistake on this one?
not in the voiceover.
No, because it is. I can't just redo the entire voiceover, but I'm trying to think whether or not I said number 14. In either case, um, yeah, that one was flat out incorrect. It should have been
Okay.
0.669. Here again, in doing these, sometimes in doing the videos, you just flat out misspeak,
Okay.
and then to redo the whole thing for 40 minutes, no. So good
But so
question. No.
is the correct answer C then?
Um,
It just because that's the clue. If you're like picking the closer, you're not getting an exact
we'll put it
calculation.
this way, on the exam, it won't be an issue. You'll find the exact answer.
Okay.
This is correct. Let's see, you've got 100, so 99.5, subtracting 5/10, adding 5/10. You got your mean times your standard deviation. That's correct, 0.3. The answer here just should have flat out been 0.687. That should have been one of your choices.
Okay.
But it won't be here again. It won't be an issue in the exam. And if it
Okay.
were, I'll correct it. I'll try
Okay.
to make sure that I go through all of the answers and make sure that this doesn't happen. I'm
Okay.
trying to think if I hold on a second here. Uh, yeah, I don't really want to get out of it. All right, so it shouldn't be an issue. The answer should be spot on. If
Okay.
it does happen,
Well, I think in this section, like the calculations were like estimates, right? So I mean, I wasn't getting the exact answer for any of them, and you were picking
really,
close. I thought that's what was going on here. I don't know. I don't know what I do sometimes.
I pretty much thought. Let me call it back up again.
No, I think you're right, Danielle, because some of them were like,
Some of them were exact and some of them weren't.
yeah, they weren't all spot on.
That's what I think I
Hmm.
got. I'm sitting here going
It's
through.
6-6. Well, what the deal is? Hold on, man. I'm just losing track of. Let me share this again. 6-6. Take a look at some of these. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. 1937, 1958 was the closest to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was like applying the normal distribution to a
Yeah, you
binomial,
do
right?
get some sort of an error. Here again. Yeah, I'll look at these. I'll see the answer, and if they're not spot on, I'll make sure there's nothing else even close.
Okay.
For instance, 0.0768, you're off by 4,
Right.
10,000, nothing close. 8516, 8508.
Right.
Um, hmm. Trying to think another way of getting the spot on answer. I'm just drawing a blank right now. here again, I'll go through the exam and I'll make sure that there's nothing, because I'll know the answer and then I can look at the possible answers.
Okay,
Not spot on. Like here, we're off by 3/10,000ths and nothing else even close. Yeah, that number 14 was really kind of a weird one
okay,
because what happened was 7-9 was closer than 9. 7-9 was a little bit closer than 6-9.
great, and so that's what I had picked C, and
Yeah,
then the
okay,
correct answer was
yeah.
A, so that's why, yeah.
Trying to think if using the chart would have been any better, but no. Yeah, 5-8, 5-7, that's great, you know. I'll make sure that the answer, if it obviously doesn't come out exact in 6-6, that the correct answer will be the closest one to it.
Okay, all right, thank
Let
you.
me know.
I'm very
Anybody
sorry,
else on 6-6?
I have to sign off, but thank you for your help.
All right, so the exam is Tuesday, 7-1. All right, let's make sure that I know. Yes, Tuesday. If you have a question, Danielle, between now and Tuesday, let's say you're doing something tomorrow or even Monday, shoot me an email.
Okay, I will. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for your help. Have a good
Yep.
weekend.
You as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I actually have a question on 6-6 for, can you review number 10, please?
All right, 60 questions, 4 possible answers. All right. So you need to lower the lower limit. All right. So here it doesn't really tell you the exact end value. All right. So we're probably of getting 20% correct. Well, 20% of 60 is 12 questions. So subtracting 5/10 from 12 gives you 11.5. Now you want at least 12 questions. So you're going 12, 13, you're going all the way out to infinity, E99. Now mu is n times p. If there's 4 questions, the probability of getting each one right is favorable over total. There's only one answer that's correct out of a total of 4. So the probability is 0.25. All right, probability of a success. If the probability of a success is 0.25, then Q is 1 minus that 0.75. You had to do a little bit of work, but I think I went through this pretty much in my voiceover. I really kind of explained it in detail.
I think you did. I'm sitting and going from 5.2, actually 4.3 and today and going all the way through all the voiceovers right now. So I haven't gotten to
Yeah,
this
the
one.
voiceover for this particular
Listen
one
to
is
it.
very detailed because it is a different one. I don't tell you what your, your end value is. You got to find 20% of 60 is 12. All right.
Yeah.
At least 20 would be 12 or more. So you're subtracting 5/10 from 12 and going all the way out to infinity, which means you can get, 13, 14, all the way up to 60. And then mu is n times p. If there's 4, let's say it had been 5 answers, then p would have been 1 chance in 5. It would have been 0.20. You with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You had to do some thinking in number 10.
Okay.
It wasn't pretty much all laid out for you. But if you watch the voiceover, I explain it in detail.
Perfect. Yeah.
And here again, for the exam, same way for exam 1, make sure you have these. But here's the case, you could have this in front of you. If you hadn't listened to the voiceover, you wouldn't have known how I got, what I got here, You wouldn't have known the 0.25. You wouldn't have known 11.5 because you didn't take 20% of 60 to find out that P was, number of successes was 12.
Actually, I do have that written here. 12 questions, 20% out of 60 questions.
Yeah. So that's the one you got to do some work and some thinking. But watch the voiceover. I do a better job of than I just did right now. Anything else, ladies, on this one here?
Not that I can see.
All right.
How many questions are the exam?
Good question. Good question. Let me take a peek here if I can. Quizzes. Quiz to 40 questions.
Okay,
And I'm giving you 120 minutes. I'll give you 2 hours.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's 2 hours should be more than enough. More than enough time. And some of the questions, literally take seconds to answer. And then, of course, you've got some that, require some thought. So 2 hours is a long, I'm looking at what people have been doing for time. No one's really run out of time. I think I had one person who didn't finish, right? There was a couple of unanswered questions, but 2 hours, put it this way, in class, if we're doing a face-to-face, a final exam in class would be 2 hours. So I'm doing the same thing with the online.
Perfect. Thank you. That's
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Cloudy here where I am. You guys?
Same. It's
Same.
gross.
Gross.
Well,
Randomly
it
raining.
beats the 101-degree temperature we had those last 2 days. Was it Tuesday and Wednesday or Monday and Tuesday? I forget what.
Sure did.
It was brutal. I think my car said 105 one time. I can't remember being that hot for a long time, over 100 degrees.
And then the
Anyways.
next day was cool. Like it's just
Yeah.
goes from one to the other.
Had the air conditioner on pretty much in the whole house all day long, and even all through the night, whatever. You feel sad for people, let's say older people who live in these, let's say, these big cities and these big apartment houses that don't have any air.
Oh,
People-
absolutely.
I mean, you must see it in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Heat strokes and heat, or whatever you call it, that medical term.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. You feel terrible for them.
Mhm. Awesome. I may be shooting you an email later this week, and I'm starting from like 4-3 up. So I feel like I might have more questions as I
Yeah,
refresh
4-3.
my
The
memory.
whole thing is permutations and combinations. Which
Yeah.
one is which? Just remember, if you're asked to arrange all of the items, it's always a factorial. And if you have a probability, the denominator could be a permutation, could be a combination, or it could be a factorial. But when I'm asking for a probability, the numerator is always 1.
Right. Because there's one favorable.
There's
Right.
only one way of getting it. Yeah. There's only
Okay.
one favorable. Exactly.
Yeah. I might have some questions. It's one of those I'm trying to I feel like I focus so much on each section each week that I don't want to forget. So I'm now going back and trying to. So
Yeah. Here
I have
again,
more
make sure you
questions
have.
for you that I'll shoot you an email on.
Yeah. Make sure you have your PDFs of the solutions with the screenshots. Did we
Absolutely.
talk about the one of somebody? Kerry, was it you? The last one when the people that were wrestling, and you didn't know whether it was a combination or a permutation.
That would
That
be a
might have been.
because it doesn't matter who wrestles who, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Me wrestling Kerry is the same as Kerry wrestling me, so the order doesn't make a difference. It was a combination versus a permutation.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you actually mind reviewing like one of the first questions in 6.2?
Yeah, no problem.
I was just starting to get onto that one. And
Let me call it up. Which one?
maybe number 2, please.
Yeah, two's pretty straightforward because you've got your lower limit, you got your upper limit. It's a standard normal, mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. And the answer is, 0.9656. There it is, right on the money.
Okay.
No, I take that back. Number 2, what am I talking about? The low limit is negative this, you're going all the way out to infinity.
Right.
All right. E99. Even though this is labeled, you see the curve though going all the way out to infinity. The first one was kind of weird because, you may get the assumption here that this is stopping here at whatever. In actuality, this curve is going all the way out to infinity. But once again, on the exam, I'll make it such that it'll be like number 2, where you see that curve going all the way out past this. You follow me? I
Yes,
won't make it something like, I think in the video, I know on the voiceover video, I said, hey, even though it appears that this is stopping at negative 3.99, in actuality, it's going all the way out to negative infinity. Your left-handed bound, your lower bound. You follow me? And that one there is very clear how that goes out to, if it's stopped between 2 points, it'll be fairly obvious. There's your low here and there's your upper right there. But
yeah,
that's pretty clear. That one there, you may have thought, well, it doesn't look like it's stopping there, but in actuality, I meant it to go all the way out to. I wanted to, say it went all the way out to negative infinity, but I'm pretty clear on how I discussed that one. Here again, on the exam, it'll be very clear whether it's stopping at negative infinity or it's stopping at a particular point on the number line. Make sense?
yes.
Yeah, like this one here, darn well it starts, here's your lower to the left and your upper to the right. All right, there's your low, there's your upper. Gary, what else on 6-2?
Let me
See,
see.
remember, it's a left-handed table. Here
I was
again,
gonna
you're
say,
looking for
can
this
you,
value here. I tell you the shaded region, but the area that's associated with this point is not the area to the right, it's the area to the left. You
Left.
follow?
Yes,
Now, here's a case here
okay,
where I
yep,
found out the area to the left, but what I could have done is, when it asked me for the area, I could have put in this subtraction problem. The calculator would have figured it out that it was 0.9306. Well, it would save a little bit of time here. I could have put this in for area. I didn't have to, manually do the subtraction.
can you just review again, just remind me, how did area to the left and subtract? So because it's asking shaded area is
The
point,
value, the area that's associated with the unknown, it's a left-handed table.
yeah,
Is this point to the left. I'm not telling you the area to the left. I'm telling you the area to the right. So to calculate the area to the left, you're going to take one whole, the area on the entire curve, subtract this little smidgen. The area to the left is the remaining, in this case here, 0.9306. The same
okay,
thing in number 8. All right. The area that's associated with this unknown, since it's a left-handed table, is from here to the left. I don't tell you what that area is. I tell you the area to the right. So to calculate the area to the left, you're going to take one whole, subtract this large portion, and get, the remaining value, which is 0.1041. If you had put in area as 0.8599, you know what you would have gotten? You would have gotten a positive score. All right, you would have got a positive value, but this is a standard normal. Right here is your mean or your median, which is 0. Anything to the left of that's going to be a negative number. You follow me? Here's the
yes,
case. If I look at this one, all right, this is my 0 here, my mean, my median, right? Anything to the left is going to be a negative number. Well, guess what? All the numbers were positive. This is the only one that was negative. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, it's common sense that that value had to be negative.
yeah,
yep. I actually wrote underneath there, only negative in my comments.
So here again, I've been telling people, make sure when you draw your curve, whether it's a standard normal, mark this mean as 0, or if it's, I don't have anything else here, but if it's not, make sure you're marking, well, in 6-2, they're all standard normals anyways. You follow me? It's not till you get to 6-3 where it's a non-standard normal and the mean is not 0 and the standard deviation is not 1. But here again, when you draw your diagram, make sure you label this because any value to the right is going to be bigger than the mean. Anything to the left is going to be smaller than the mean. And if it's a standard normal, anything to the left is a negative number. Anything to the right is a positive number. Diagrams are helpful. You can see where, you can avoid making a careless error.
That makes sense. Do you actually mind just reviewing in 6-3, like one of the
Sure.
non-standard normal?
Sure, give me a sec. Okay. You got one, a particular one in mind?
Nothing. Yeah, maybe just do one. That's fine.
Yeah, here again, this case here, I didn't draw the diagram. I do give you the mean, I give you the standard deviation. X is less than 53, so I would draw my diagram. I would put 53 to the left of the middle, right, the mean of 60. And I'm going less than would mean I'm going all the way to the left, which is negative infinity. So
Yeah.
it's the same idea as far as the lower and the upper. The only difference being right here, mean is not 0 and standard deviation is something else. So mean is in this case 60, standard deviation is whatever. All right. Here again, if
Would
I
you be able
drew
to
the
hop to 7?
what?
7 on that one? The the energy one?
I just wanted to finish number 1 for Kerry first before I move. Kerry, you all set with that?
Damn. Thank you.
All right. P45. Well, the mean, which is the same as the median, is P50. All right, so P45 is to the left of the mean. All right. So anything to the left and 45%, well, that translates to the area to the left, 0.45. There's your mean, there's your standard deviation. All right, bottom means to the left, top means to the right. So what you're looking for, if I had if I could draw this, whatever, but you understand that P45 would be, here again, look at the mean. The mean is 1,050, that's P50. If I'm looking for P45, P45 is going to be a smaller number than 1,050. And you can see what it is, it's 1,022.
Okay. That's
Okay.
actually a good call.
Yes, that does make sense.
That actually, when you say it that way, puts it into perspective a lot way that my brain wasn't thinking initially, to be honest. So that's great perspective. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and here again, I think I do a really decent job when I do the voiceover of explaining it. Here again, I didn't have the opportunity to draw the diagram, but P40, I mean, the 45th percentile is less than the mean, which is P50, which is 1,050. So I know it had to be less. How many values are less than? Well, it couldn't very well have been 1,087. It couldn't have been 1,078. These are the two known values. D and A were the only ones that were less than 1,050. You follow?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While we're here, anything else? Here again, bottom 81%. All right. From the top 19. Well, the bottom is to the left. Here it is, 0.81.
Thank you. I have to run, but thank you so much, Professor. I appreciate your help with this.
You're quite welcome. Here again, like I mentioned, the test is until Tuesday morning. If you've got a question between Sunday and whatever, and sometimes what I'll do is actually create a little video. If I can't do it in words, whatever, I'll create a little video.
Awesome. Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate
I
you ladies
appreciate
taking
it.
the time. You wonder, you wonder where everybody else is, and I understand people's work schedules and stuff. But hey, y'all here, it's all it counts.
Thank
I'm
you.
here, y'all. You're quite
Take
welcome.
care.
Take care.
Thank you. I actually really didn't have any other questions either. I'm kind of doing the same thing, just kind of going through everything. And if I do come across one, I might just shoot you an email.
Yeah, I'll be available.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
We appreciate all
good.
of your help.
You're quite welcome. You guys have been great students, and I know you did well in the first exam, and I know you're going to do well in the second exam.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.